Good work day today. As you saw, we announced the 6 captains. Those guys have put in a tremendous amount of work in this program. 4 guys returning from last season and then 2 transfers, Linus and Jack Peterson, who've done a great job working with their teammates throughout the summer, picking guys up. And then the quarterback decision, Caden did a really nice job throughout fall camp. I think those other guys improved for sure as well, and Owen and Julian. At the end of the day, for us, it's about accuracy, decision-making, and being able to make plays off schedule. And that showed up throughout the offseason, and we're looking forward to that this fall. Questions?
When did it kind of maybe become, I don't want to say apparent, but when did you kind of get the feeling that it would be Caden?
Well, we wanted to make sure and evaluate the whole offseason. And so spring ball, the summer, all the work that went into that, fall camp, I think all those guys came out and were efficient. I think in the middle part of camp there, Caden maybe had some of his best days, and so you saw that. And then he had a couple days where he had to pick himself up because the defense does a really good job at challenging those guys on offense. But we feel really good about Caden moving forward, just the accuracy piece, right, making sure we're throwing a runner's ball. We got a lot of guys with ability for run after catch, the decision-making piece, and then being able to make plays off schedule.
How close, or is it completed, just kind of putting together the rest of the 2 deep?
Yeah, we're getting there. There's probably a couple positions where it could be an or, right, depending on where things are at or personnel or who we're playing or, kind of the structures that you see. But all those meetings yesterday were really, I think, valuable to get on the same page, players and coaches.
At this juncture, are you anticipating to have everyone available for week 1 with the exception of Trey and I assume Hudson?
That would be correct, yes.
How did you tell Caden, and what was his reaction to getting the news?
Yeah, excited. He's put in a crud ton of work, right, to be in this position. You go back to high school, you go back to his experience at Davis from last season. So really excited about him and be on this journey together. We had meetings with the quarterbacks 8:30, 9, and 9:30, so met with all 3 of those guys and wanted to make sure we are thorough, the things that they do really well, the areas they can improve, and we can all improve, myself included.
Where was he in the order of meetings?
I believe he was the first. I don't know if that wasn't necessarily by, it's around their class schedule. That's just kind of how it happened, so don't read into that too much.
Is there any update? I know Sony's been here just kind of waiting on the eligibility thing. Is there any update on that?
I do not have any update. I might find out the same time you do on that. I know that there's a lot of moving pieces right now in college football, and we're going to try and do what's best for Sony and for Washington State football.
Caden, being a redshirt sophomore, he doesn't carry himself as if he is one. How has that leadership portion evolved for him? And I know it's only been 8 months since you guys got him. Yeah. How has that come along? Probably
life experience. You look at being thrown into the fire there last season at UC Davis, going into the playoffs, some of the hostile environments that he played in that conference, and then coming here and transitioning and meeting a lot of new teammates, being quite a bit ways from home. So that maturation process, and he's done an excellent job of just meeting teammates where they're at on offense and defense.
I know you talked a little bit about him being accurate and off ball stuff, but he's, I don't know if you want to say sneaky athletic, but he can run the ball really fast. Is that something that Coug fans can be ready for?
I think you look at some of the previous quarterbacks who've had success here at Washington State and their ability to extend plays and find guys downfield, and if everyone's covered, sometimes the quarterback isn't, right? So there's some scramble opportunities with that, and that's shown up throughout fall camp.
How did his kind of experience and leadership factor into that decision?
I think for him it probably gave him a little bit of experience that the other guys hadn't had, right? When maybe someone makes a play for you, or if they don't make a play for you, you got to pick them up because you're going to throw to them again the next play. And that's something that I think has shown up, is taking accountability from the quarterback position, because naturally with that position you get too much credit and too much blame at times. There's a lot of other pieces to the offense that make the quarterback go.
What remains for improvement for him? What's the next step that you want to see him take?
Well, naturally there's some situational football things that came up throughout fall camp where the defense challenges you. Maybe he had some of those at Davis, some of those he didn't, just some of the pictures that he sees from the defense, and then you learn from those, and you want to make sure you don't make the same mistake twice.
What's in terms of obviously picking up the playbook, I mean, how fast of a learner was he, and how much did he help the other guys in the offense learn that, pick that up?
He's a really good learner in all aspects. I know I went by the academic building yesterday at 8:30 in the morning, and he was there already on his classes with the first day of school, which I thought was pretty dang cool. And then from the film standpoint, he's meeting extra. We talk about doing more than what's expected. So the film's going to be up here in about 20 minutes, and I'm sure he'll be watching it and texting his coaches and asking questions about the good things and maybe the ones that we can learn from.
Last question for you from me. How'd you spend your birthday other than the football stuff?
A lot of good question, a lot of football. I think we had some dessert last night as a family, so we went day after. Water balloon fight was good, though. Yeah.
I know one of the other big positions you guys have been evaluating is right tackle. Have you kind of come to a conclusion on who that will be?
We're in the process once we transition to Washington on Friday. We feel good about a number of guys there, and then we'll solidify. I know this was Johnny's first practice back after being off for a couple, and then we'll make that decision and get it out to you.
Well, Sam just said congratulations on winning the battle. I guess just what was your reaction when you got told yesterday that you were going to be the starting quarterback?
I was happy, of course, right? That's the end-all goal when you come to another school. But props to Owen Eshelman and Julian Duggar. I mean, those guys compete every single day, day in, day out, and both of them are really good ball players. So to have them on my side and compete alongside with them not only made me better, but the whole team better. So it was a good feeling overall.
When you kind of go into the meeting, I mean, is it just completely up in the air? Do you have a good feeling, a bad feeling? Just kind of what was your emotions going in?
Yeah, you always have a good feeling going into something like that. Really, you just kind of have to play it out and, yes sir, yes coach, the whole deal. And, my biggest thing is trying to remain humble and keep feeling like I have someone on my back. That's just kind of the natural competitor in me. And with the guys in our room, man, I mean, just anybody can play, and they're all really good ball players.
Kind of felt like mid-camp you really found a rhythm and kind of started to, maybe immerse yourself a little bit more with kind of that first unit. Did you feel like that there was something that maybe clicked for you a little bit there in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah. Spring ball definitely, it's new scheme, so right, you're getting used to everything. But, yeah, like you said, when fall camp hit, just going over the schemes and play concepts with Miller, Wade, and Coach Andy B, I mean, it just struck to me like, okay, this is how things are going to start rolling. And I think a lot of guys in the wide receiver room, tight end room, and actually every room, O-line and running back, felt it. So from that point on, we just all started rolling.
You found out the news like first thing in the morning, it sounds like. Were there any like nerves walking into his office, or what was that moment like walking in there?
I mean, yeah, I kind of practice always being pretty poised. You do have a little bit of butterflies going to something like that, but for me, I was kind of composed and just hope for the best.
I guess like after each practice happened, what kinds of feedback were you getting from Coach Moore and Coach Miller, and how did you feel like you were kind of progressing through each practice?
Yeah, I mean, there's still some, I guess you could say young heirs, something like that. And, with great offensive minds and a head coach that we do, their feedback's always good. Hey, thought you could have checked this ball down, threw it away. In this scenario, just break out of the pocket and run. Things like that. Not always the best because, practice not going to be the best, but that's what I need, and that's what the team needs.
After you found out the news, who was the first person you called, and how did you spend the rest of the day after that?
My mom, of course, right? It's just me and my mom, right, all 20 years that I've been on this planet. And, yeah, she was the first one to call because we're on this journey together. And then obviously had to thank the Lord Christ for allowing me to get into this opportunity that I am right now.
You came here 8 months ago knowing that you're going to go to Washington State, and there's a lot of guys that, played here for 3-4 years in Pullman. How did you gain their trust?
Yeah, I think it's just going through the rough together. It starts with the workouts, and then, when you start throwing on our off time, you start, hey, this is what I like to see when I break out of the pocket, or in this look, this is what I like. So I think just the mixture of like hard trials of workouts and then summer OTAs, I think we all kind of came together and really realized what we're here for, because there's a lot of guys offensively that have come from different schools. So, yeah, but we also have great leaders. I've seen all of our captains, and one being from the offensive side, two being from the offensive side. I've had 3, Trip, T-Free, and JP. So those guys all really bring everyone together.
Speaking of T-Free, what's it been like working with him as a receiver, and how quickly did that chemistry build?
Yeah, this dude is probably one of the more mature, intellectual wide receivers I played with, and I've played with a couple guys like that. And, man, there's so much to be said about him that I can't say because there's just so much. But, I mean, he's seen in 2 minutes. I mean, he's someone I could trust, throw the ball up, and he's going to go grab it. So he's just been really fun to play with, and I can't wait for more.
Coach Moore called you a really great learner and said, when it comes to academics, you're dialed in. When it comes to the playbook, you're dialed in. What's your approach to learning a new offense, and what helps you learn the best?
For me, it's going to have to be, in practice reps. I'm someone who, is going to have to fail to understand something. And it may not always be the best situation, but you always gain something, especially being young. But that, and also just meeting up with our head staff, great offensive minds in there. So anytime you can take tips and lessons from them, is going to help me learn better as well.
When you chose Washington State at the beginning of the year, what was your vision and what did you have in mind for what you could accomplish here?
Man, beat the team across the West, and then go get that Pac-12 championship. That's something I have on my mind since I got here, something that I echoed very clearly. And to my point being, I think we have a lot of guys here that feel the same way. Offensive, defense, and they want it. Offensively, they want it. So with that being said, I mean, just those two things are on my mind.
And Caden, like I said, it's only been 8 months, but do you know the history of WSU quarterbacks and where you fall into like some of the greats?
Oh yeah, no, I've heard all about them, and I'm very fortunate. I was able to work with Alex Brink over the break, and then connect with Ryan Leaf, Jack Thompson. All of them I consider mentors to me. Just what they've been through, and I'll reach to them sometimes, be like, hey, I'm having this kind of trouble, or what do you see here? What's your advice? And so just with that being on my mind, I know I'm in the right place to go somewhere great, and that's what WSU produces.
You mentioned the pride you take in being poised, all the time. Were you always that way, or like what was the process of getting to a place where you feel proud of your ability to do that?
As a young kid, right, you kind of a little bit rambunctious, and you show your emotions on your sleeve. I had trouble doing that, but as you play the quarterback position, you learn pretty quickly that all eyes are on you. And from my freshman year in high school, I just kind of took that upon myself and try to apply myself to doing that every day. And it helps the guys out there, because once they see me down, right, it's just a chain reaction. So I try to stay strong for them. And, I mean, obviously it shows off when we go open team and everyone's tired. But I'm like, hey, guys, like, we got it. We're going to get this next play.
I guess just this kind of fall campus transition now into, start of school, start of season, just kind of what was the biggest things that you feel like you took away from fall camp?
Well, quite a few things. I had to learn how to be a more poised leader. Getting more closer with my guys. I was living in the facility, so I was seeing everybody every single day. So bringing more of consistency, that closeness, that brotherhood was important. Like I said, my poise and just my leadership skills have grown tremendously to help this team and this defense just grow. So it's been going well. What's
kind of maybe the biggest thing you tried to kind of, teach some of the younger guys, or kind of, maybe advise them on?
Yeah, flushing the next play. Flushing a play you just played. Thinking ahead of the snap, getting the communications right, having pre-snap reads, having great pre-snap reads, putting your eyes in the right spot. You can't control what just happened anymore. You only can learn from it. So your attitude, where your mind goes, is important, not being down on it. I try to preach that a lot to our young guys, especially the guys on scout who are down or feeling some type of way. We're bringing them up, keeping their mental strong. So just focus on the next thing. You can't control it, just focus on the next one. So.
I know this isn't on your side of the ball, but how did they tell you guys that Caden was going to start a quarterback, and what was your guys' reaction?
We seen it on Instagram. That was a post. We had a great quarterback battle this entire fall camp. Congratulations to all those guys. They all worked their butts off. But I'm proud of Caden, proud of him for all the things he overcame these past 8 months, all the adversity he has to go through, especially being a little bit of a shorter quarterback. People tell me he can't do it all the time, and that man stands strong on how he feels and how he goes about his business. So I love him, and I'm grateful for him to have him as my quarterback. I'm excited for him this season.
When you've been lined up against him on defense, what makes him kind of a tough cover for you guys?
Yeah, he's a commander of the offense. He knows what he's doing. If he sees us in a certain coverage, he's able to adjust and get things aligned quick. He's a great commander. I think that's the biggest thing I've noticed. Especially as a quarterback in this day and age, being able to command your offense, them following you, and actually trusting in your lead. You can see that a lot in Caden, and his ability to make plays with his legs is great, and his arm, he can throw the ball wherever he needs to. So it's been good. I'm happy to see his progress this past year, especially with Owen and Doug as well. All those guys have been following up after him, so it's been really good to see all the progress they've made.
You mentioned you've had to kind of become a more poised leader. What do you mean by that, and what's that?
Just level-headed, sometimes you get too high, you can get too low. When the lows are really low, guys are looking at you, especially as a Mike backer. And how I respond and how I act afterwards is important because guys are looking at me to get the call, get the defensive line, get things set. So my level-headedness is important for the rest of the defense, the rest of the team as well. I'm a part of multiple special teams, and I can't be worried about what just happened on defense. If, a big run happened, a big play, explosive play, and I got to go play punt or go play kickoff return, whatever it is, I got to be the same guy every single day, every single play, every single snap. And I want everybody on the team to be able to see me like that. So that's been one of my big focuses, emotional consistency this past fall camp, and it's been growing a lot.
This is a new defensive scheme, not just for you, but for everybody on this whole defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anyone that's been helping you? I mean, obviously Keith Brown's been here for forever.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Who's been the guy that's been able to help you out?
Yeah, Keith Brown. We lean on all of each other. The entire linebacker room. We're all leaning on each other. Coach Swank, Coach Bray. Just honestly, just all the guys in the LB room. Jack Ellison, guys got put on scholarship. I sit right next to a meeting, so we're talking about things left and right. He comes off the field, I'm helping him. I come off the field, Keith, Jack, they're all helping me. Gage, I would say that our entire room is a big support system. We're a big, close group. Obviously there's always competition, but we have a great closeness in the group as well. So I mean everybody. Coach Bray is, is a mastermind of defense, and Coach Swank is a great graduate assistant. He knows the game inside out as well, coming from a corner position, learning linebacker. I love all the guys that help support and help us grow mentally because we're playing a lot faster.
A couple days ago, Coach Moore told us about roll call day and just the opportunity to meet individually with each of you guys.
Yes,
what did you take away from that meeting?
Yeah, I took a lot away. I got to command the front better. Continue to be boisterous with commanding the D-line, getting the move calls going, getting the D-line set, like I said, staying poised. That's important. Being consistent in my zone drops. I've improved a lot from the spring and the summer, but I got to just continue to be consistent, and where I need to be, my landmarks, have my eyes back, settle where I need to settle, and then just continue to watch more film, learn it. Like I know the defense now. Now it's about the pre-snap communication, seeing the formations that come out, ruling things out faster so I can be ahead of the game and play faster. So those were the biggest things for me where I took away. And I literally was focusing on that today. Like that was my main focus, those three things, and I'm already seeing the growth. And it's gonna take some time, but I know by the end of the season I continue to keep that focus, continue to play to my strengths. I'm excited to see what I can learn from this roll call. So.
How common is that type of one-on-one meeting, like preseason, in your experience?
That was my first time I ever had a roll call meeting. At Kent State, we didn't do that, and it was different for me, but it was good. I enjoyed it because I like hearing feedback. Constantly learning where can I be better at, where can I grow at, and Coach Bray has been really good giving me advice on that, and I've been grateful for it. So that was the first time I ever did it.
You mentioned living in the facility during fall camp.
Yeah.
Had you done that before? What led to that?
No, that was the first time I ever did it, and I wanted to just take a different approach. I love where I'm at. We got everything I need here. I didn't think I needed to go back home and, settle in, maybe stay up a little later watching film, doing something I don't need to be, or, just at home. And I could be around my teammates more. They wake up, they see me, I get to see them. And I wasn't the only person that did it. We had guys in and out. Maybe about 10 to 15 of us were staying here. So I feel like it was also a leadership thing for me too, letting guys show that it's normal to stay, like to live where you work at. I love it. I enjoyed it. And I low-key was talking to JC about it the other day. I was like, man, I wish we could have stayed a little longer because it was so fun. But it's super comfortable in there, and I'm happy I did. I'm happy I took a different approach, and I'll be doing that for the rest of my career, staying in the facilities because it's great in there.
That's cool. You had like an air mattress.
Yeah, air mattress, mattress topper, pillows, blackout sheets and everything. I had my Normatec set up. I was good. Like I had everything I needed. I was successful. So came out healthy. That's the biggest thing I've been worried about, is just staying healthy and available. So yeah, it's great.
So do you have an apartment?
I do.
Okay.
I live with yeah. So I got a place. I live with KB and T Free at the retreat, but I just wanted to take a different approach. This is it's my third year. I've been around the game now for quite some time, since I was 3, and been in college now third year. I've learned from Keith a lot, and I just wanted to be closer to him, be closer to my teammates. It was good to stay in the locker room. It's cold in there at night. Nobody bothering you. Got the guys, got every snack I need. Get to go to the weight room, go stretch before I go to bed. If I got questions, I can go ask Coach Bray. I got everything I need. All the food is here, facilities is here, everything's here. So it was good. It was really good for me.
It's good. Is it spooky at all at night?
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Got the janitors that come in and clean and everything, but that's all cool. Yeah, I was getting to know them too.